So today we're going to be getting into a compilation of some of the most unhinged individuals within our greater society, otherwise known as liberals. The two words are synonymous. Unhinged is liberal, liberal is mental illness. That being said, I want to let it be known that I am not here to create greater division, but instead I am merely a petty individual who finds deep joy, pleasure, and absolute fulfillment from hearing this sort of nonsense. So let's get into it. Shall we? Shall we? We shall. Let's get clip number 1 going.
And to the people who say we shouldn't be insulting MAGA just because they believe different than us, you're wrong, actually. We should be insulting them more, and we should have been insulting them from the very fucking beginning. Maybe if we had insulted...
Homegirl must have been absent for the last 10 years. We have not been insulting them. The entire Kamala Harris campaign was nothing more than MAGA insults. The Democratic Party is an insult to MAGA, to America. They're an insult to themselves. But let's let her cook until she burns down the whole entire neighborhood.
And we had publicly shamed them and let them know that the way they think, the way they behave is completely unacceptable.
That's all you've
then
ever
we
done.
Wouldn't be in the situation we're currently in, where we have fucking Nazi sympathizers in office, and we have people who are Nazi sympathizers running around letting their inside thoughts be outside thoughts.
The level of projection, the lack of self-awareness, and the excessiveness of mental illness is mind-boggling. Imagine the very same people who are out there protesting on behalf of Hamas, anti-Jewish sentiments, are calling us Nazis. Jew-hating liberals calling us okay, yeah. No. It checks.
Without them getting punched in the fucking face. Maybe if you had told your racist ass grandma to shut the fuck up, this is the 2000s, we don't fucking talk like that, we don't act like that anymore,
grandma.
And I'm not gonna sit there
Catch
and
hands.
Still continue to be part of your family. If you act like that, if you treat people like that, maybe she would have felt bad about herself and shut the fuck up.
So this is a moral leader here, folks. She is willing to knock her granny out. I guess she took LL Cool J song quite literally. She is willing to knock grandma out, but she's also going to tell us how to treat people right? This is the left. This is the liberal. This is the liberal mind. I will destroy you in order to show you how good I am and how terrible you are. That's them. You catch what I'm throwing? We will shank you in the heart, and then we will act as the victim. That's them. We will blow your car up, the same car we used to try to force you into buying because of this climate change. Yeah, we will blow your car up in order to show you how much of a terrorizer you are. You catch that? It's checking. All of this is checking. All of this is clearly saying.
Yeah, maybe if you had told your homophobic ass coworker that he was a fucking smelly ass loser, and that's the reason why no man or woman wanted to fucking touch him, and that's why he's so angry that there's people out there who even love those with the same gender and are getting some, but he can't. Maybe he would have been embarrassed and shut the up. Maybe if he had called out that xenophobic ass in church who kept talking about illegal immigrants, because Jesus would have fucking hated her and her entire ass person.
Well, we can at least say this, folks. I guess this level of mental instability is somehow in a roundabout way leading them back to morality. It's like, remember the 4B thing that we're doing? The feminists just were shaving themselves bald-headed. Yeah. They were professing that they would actually close their legs for once and not essentially give their box to the rest of the world for just a slight bit of attention, right? They proclaimed that they would no longer be having children, i.e., they would no longer be getting pregnant and unaliving their young. So there was a win there, at least for like 4 days. It turned from the 4B to the 4-day movement. They were supposed to be doing this for 4 years, but you know how things go. New thing to get pissed off about, and frankly, they couldn't do without the validation and the attention. But I digress. So we had that, and that was a win. And then they're talking about sterilizing themselves, etc. Natural selection at its finest. Now we've gotten to a place where they are not only they've stopped this entire push towards the green situation, right? Climate change, blah, blah, blah. They used to care so deeply about that. Now they're blowing cars up. They're buying gas guzzling cars in protest. So, they've lightened up on that insanity. And now we're at a place where they're literally talking about Jesus. This may be the evolution of the insane. This might be it right here.
Maybe she would feel bad and shut the fuck up. Maybe if we had told these smelly ass, stupid ass, lack of empathy ass from the get-go that they were pieces of shit and we didn't want anything to do with them, maybe this wouldn't be where we are right now. Okay, insult and shame those motherfuckers for their loser ass behavior because I'm not enabling it. Why are you?
Wow, what a pleasant human being. I'm sure she smells delightful. I'm sure she doesn't smell like an old worn out rag dipped in pickle juice and 7-year-old hot dog water. I'm sure she does not resemble any of those fragrances, but instead she smells excellent because she seems to be quite mentally stable. And by mentally stable, I mean completely fucking insane. All right. Next up, we have what looks to be the grandma she probably wishes she had. This one right here. Look at that. Look at that beginning scene. What a delight. These people are just filled with love and tolerance and acceptance and all good things. This is good.
She's a con artist and a thief, and I hope every day I wake up every day and pray that he died.
Oh, you don't mean that.
She wakes up every day and she prays to her God, Beelzebub, Lucifer, the morning star, that a man have his life taken. I'm telling you guys, these are quite literally the most sane people. We need to be listening to them. Like, that's what I'm realizing. As we're going forward, as we're moving on through this journey, I'm beginning to realize that these are the very people that we actually need to give our entire hearts, minds, and souls to. We need them to lead us into temptation, right? To guide us into evil. That's what we need them to do. Without any power, glory, and none of that nonsense forever and ever and ever. Because the last thing we would want to be is humane. The last thing we would want to be is sane. So I'm glad we at least have somebody who cares enough to tell us how it is.
Absolutely.
That's an evil thought to say, though.
I say it.
Don't you want to win based on winning the argument instead of his death?
I want him to be gone out of our hair and our country. He is destroying the entire world. Do you know
entire
How did you
world,
feel
guys.
when they missed him with the bullet?
Wait a minute. Do you know? I was pissed. Oh my God, I was pissed. And some man lost his life over it.
Yeah.
Some man that nobody even talks about lost his life over it.
Well, we talked about he was brought on stage. His jacket was brought on stage at the RNC.
Oh, and hey.
So we did talk about it as Republicans.
It wasn't a person that shot him. It was a gun that did the damage. Yeah. So
it wasn't a person that shot him. It was a gun that did. You know what? It wasn't that crackhead who stabbed you. It was the knife that did that. It wasn't that criminal, illegal immigrant who set that woman on fire. It was the fire that set her on fire. This is a new level of smooth brainedry. I've never experienced this before. I have been in sequences where I have lost many a brain cells as I indulge myself in this sort of rhetoric, discourse. But never before have I experienced this. Let me just run this back for y'all.
And hey,
So we did talk about it as Republicans.
It wasn't a person that shot him. It was a gun that did the damage. Yeah. So, fuck Trump, and may he die tomorrow.
May karma be swift.
And I do wish it.
Yeah. That right there is your local primary school teacher. That's her. Just, you know, Miss Gladys, who is 3 years away from retirement. Tenure. That's her. That's her right there. That's who's teaching your children. Same mental patient who is sitting in front of that television watching hours of MSDNC night after day, day after night, soaking in the hatred, soaking in the misery, the bitterness, the frustration, the resentment. That's her. And that's who we need to be listening to. Because if not for her, then who, you know? So here we have our final contestant, final contender. And, you know, hopefully she can bring some insight into our lives, because Lord knows that we need it, because according to the first chick, we are stinky and we are smelly. That's what we are. So, you know, what better thing to do than to cleanse yourself with a little bit of insanity. Sanitizer and insanitizer. You know what I mean? It's a bar.
You're calling for the impeachment of Trump and Vance. In your mind, what have they done that deserves to be impeached?
I believe Elizabeth Warren gave 100 examples of that on his 100th day.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear her comments. Can you name a few?
The number of points of corruption that he has. I mean, I don't even know where. I'm sorry, speechless. Don't even know where to begin.
Don't even know.
I mean, from insider trading to pardoning friends who donated to his campaign.
That's right. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember when Trump got himself into public office, I think maybe a few decades ago, right? And, you know, he was making a sizable salary, $100-something thousand a year. But somehow, within a small sequence of time, he's worth $60 to $70 million. Remember that? No. Like, no. The guy was making no more than $200,000 a year and somehow ends up making millions of dollars in public service. Wait, I'm tripping. Hold up. Sorry. Oh, wait. No. That was Elizabeth Warren that did that, right? Yeah. No. That was Elizabeth Warren, the very same Elizabeth Warren who gave you that talking point. How interesting. Okay, but you know, the second point must be valid, of course, because these are sane people and they listen to other sane people. So the donation money. Okay, so he pardoned all the people that gave him donor money. Yes. Remember when he pardoned Fauci? You guys remember that? Like, he was pardoning criminals. He pardoned his son. Okay, his son was on trial, you know, for, I mean, sure, there was the weapons charge and things of that nature, but there was also the child inappropriate content on his laptop, the drug use, etc. Do you remember when Trump he pardoned his son? He told us for 4 years he would not pardon his son, and then he pardoned his son. Wait. Oh no, I'm sorry, y'all. That was that was Biden. That was Biden. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure something else would check out here. Let's go to, because I'm pretty sure she most definitely actually listened to those 100 points made by a valid source, Pocahontas. Yeah.
Pardoning their family members. The list goes on and on.
Pardoning family members. Yeah. It's absolutely not projection from the Democrats.
The corruption is obvious.
With regards to those pardons, did you feel the same way about Joe Biden when he pardoned his family?
You know, that is not something that I'm going to comment on.
Yeah.
Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid.
Yeah. I can do this for the rest of my life and likely should until we completely dismantle this entire thing. This is the real me speaking. Sarcasm jacket off completely. Let's have a serious moment here. I'm sorry, I can't. This is complete insanity. Complete and absolute insanity. And these are the people who believe themselves to be the moral superior. They believe they're better than you. They told you that. They believe you're stupid. They believe that essentially you're uneducated. You don't know nothing. They believe that you're in the cult. And yet, when it comes to asking them a simple question, they have no answer for it. The educated fool is a dangerous one, right? Because this one, this brain cells evaporated, non-existent. But there's some who sound sophisticated, that, you know, articulate themselves well and things of that nature. And they sound like they know what they're talking about, but really they're just espousing a whole bunch of nonsense with intellectual jargon. That's all that is. But when it's all said and done, the facts are always going to speak for themselves. So, yeah, these guys are cooked. They're finished. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.